Welcome to Lecture 17 of Networks, Friends, Money and Bytes. And today we'll talk about how do we watch video on the internet. Now, video watching is changing rapidly these days in many different dimensions. For example, in terms of the type of content, now we're watching a lot of user-generated as well as licensed content as pioneered by YouTube. When we watch video, it used to be you have to follow the TV schedule. Now, with devices like DVR or IPTV, or services like HBO Go in the US, we can sometimes watch whenever we want to watch a certain content. Where we watch it used to be a living room, for example, and now it's pretty much anywhere as long as there's internet connectivity, for example. Now, how do we watch it? It used to be on a TV or a desktop, and now it's almost any device, including your phone, your tablet, games console, and so on. But perhaps the biggest change that is happening is how much we are watching content. For example, on Hulu, in February 2012, there were 31 million unique viewers, mostly in North America. Comcast in the US had about 40 million unique viewers in spring 2012, watching over 200 million videos. And this is actually a doubling of these numbers just about 9 months ago. And in the US, there's also over 100 million IPTV users. And we will soon explain the difference between IPTV and other kinds of video delivery over the top, such as Hulu. And half of the internet capacity is used up by YouTube and Netflix traffic in America. We're going to walk through 4 different classifications. Each of them is essentially a binary classification, although there are some gray area hybrids in terms of the type of content and the way that it is delivered to consumers. The first classification is the difference between pre-coded and real-time video content. Some video content are generated as it happens. For example, certain sports events, or finance, or certain major news that's breaking out in the same time as it is being transmitted to the world. But vast majority of the content, especially entertainment content, are pre-coded. So they are coded and stored somewhere before they are delivered and played back. Now, certain content is not only real-time, but even more so, it is interactive. There's a two-way interaction. Examples include online gaming or video conference call. Gaming and video conferencing are video services that require interaction. So of course, going from pre-coded to real-time, the requirement on delay becomes much more stringent. And then as you go into two-way interaction, not only you care about delay, but you also care about jitter, which is the variation of delay over time. So that was about the type of content. The second classification is about the way that it is delivered. One possibility is download, and the other extreme end is streaming. So for streaming, you basically do not keep a local copy of the content. The bits are continuously sent to you, and then you keep playing them back. Whereas for download, you actually keep a local copy. For example, YouTube, Netflix, these are streaming based. iTunes is download based. Of course, if it is a rental movie, then with proper digital rights management, DRM, you can erase it automatically on the end user devices after the period of time is expired. Now, in between the two extremes of download and streaming, there is also partial download. In fact, unless it is a very real-time or interactive video, even most streaming is actually a version of partial download. Okay, you're going to download, for example, the next 5 minutes of the Netflix movie, and this will help you smoothen the potential jitter. Okay, it smoothens the playback experience, and it may start erasing as it is being played back. So of course, if you have real-time content, then you must stream it. It is impossible to download it. But if you have a pre-coded content, then you can actually either do download or do streaming. For example, you can either download from iTunes if you buy it or rent it, or you can stream it on YouTube and Netflix. The third classification is also about the delivery method. The traditional way of watching content is always channelized. So there are TV guides that gives you the schedule, and then you follow the given schedules. You do not get to pick and choose when you watch a certain content. It's the traditional experience we've been going through for many decades. And then increasingly we're talking about on demand. So instead of following their schedule, you're going to follow your own schedule. Okay. A lot of these YouTube, Netflix are on demand, and increasingly IPTV is also offering on demand, perhaps by charging an extra premium. And then in between these two extremes, there's also a hybrid mode called a near video on demand. In this case, you stagger the content. For example, you play it here, in 5 minutes you play it again on a different channel, and 5 minutes later play again. On certain international flights, for example, they may offer multiple channels playing back the same movie in a near video on demand fashion. So as far as your 5-minute patience is tolerable, then this appears as if it is on demand, even though it's actually staggered channels. The fourth classification is about the number of destinations. Okay. Are there many or just one for each piece of content? Now we saw that you can run multicast in the network layer with IP multicast, but because of the management overhead, usually it's only used in a local area network, LAN, or is used in network management protocols, or it is used, as we will see, in IPTV, deployed by an ISP. But you can also run application layer multicast, for example, BitTorrent, okay, or PP Live. These are popular American and Asian kind of IP app layer based multicast based on P2P technologies. As we will see that even when you use multicast in IPTV, sometimes unicast still helps a little. Now, increasingly, people are spoiled by unicast. Okay, and indeed, if you care about a true video on demand, not just near video on demand, then you cannot possibly use multicast. You have to use unicast. So now, altogether, we got 4 different classifications, each of which is, roughly speaking, binary ones. So we have, in theory, 2 to the 4th, 16 possible combinations of viewing modes of video on the internet. But of course, some of these 16 combinations do not make sense, as we just talked about. In a homework problem, you will fill out a table for the rest. So now, when we talk about IP video, there are actually 2 very different kinds of technologies. One is called IPTV, and the other is called video over the internet. Okay, sounds very much similar, and now we're going to see the differences between these 2 types.